First shots with the Kodiak K9. I went out to the range yesterday and I fired somewhere between 200 and 225 rounds. About 50 of those rounds were with Blazer aluminum case, and the rest of the ammo was with, I can't remember the name brand, but it's just standard 115 grain brass target ammo. Nothing special about it. And so far, it is actually very promising, and more so than it was when I first unboxed this and I did the overview video. And I want to get one thing out of the way first. The magazine issue has seemingly fixed itself. I don't know if it just needed break-in, but all of the mags that I have are these the Magpul mags work totally fine. They go in first time. I don't need to worry about it. I don't know why it was happening before, but I think me just repeatedly jamming mags into this thing, trying to figure out what was wrong, fixed it. So it works now, and I don't have to worry about magazine problems. I think that was genuinely just a early production getting used to it thing, or what's it called? Break-in period. So that's very good. I did have one singular problem, and that is, it's actually kind of strange. The aluminum case ammo would shoot and cycle just fine. However, it would not feed on the first round just fine. So what would end up happening is I would load the mag, and then no matter what I did, whether I pulled the bolt back and I kept it in place with the bolt catch, or I just let it go, it wouldn't feed the round. But when I forced it to feed the round, so I made sure it was seated properly, and then I put the mag in, and I shot it, it would cycle just fine. So it's just really fucking weird. I don't understand how it can cycle just fine from the magazine, but can't feed the first round. And no matter how many rounds are in the mag, it could have been 10, it could have been 5, it wouldn't do it. It's really weird. So if you get one of these things and you want to practice malfunction clearing, buy some aluminum ammo. Otherwise, just stick with brass case 115. I'll have some 124 grain that I'm going to run through this soon. Hopefully as soon as possible, but I might have to wait a couple weeks. The rest of these things that I have to say about this are all positive. Almost all of the rest of the things. The biggest positive that I really noticed every time you pick it up and use it is the bolt catch. This is a proprietary bolt catch, and maybe they could have done an AR bolt catch and you can put your own however you like it. But this is really good. The oversized nature of it makes it really easy to slap it with the side of your hand. I even punched it a couple of times, like literally with a fist. It was very comfortable, very easy to use. Excellent. Also, as I was running the charging handle, you can see the charging handle is scraping on the inside of the receiver, but I think it's just the paint. There's no physical anything. There's no physical cutting into the thing. It's just the paint, and it did become smoother as time went on. Um, I guess it's strange. This gun seemingly needs a break-in period for basically everything except the mag cat or the bolt release, apparently. But once it was broken in, it worked really well. Uh, I did put some hockey tape on the faces here, just because it was more comfortable to pull back. This metal was quite um, it was thin metal at the back here, and so it was kind of unpleasant to hold. But now it works just fine. I mean, this is an aftermarket anyway, so there's that. Recoil wise, barely any. Um, I mean, as you would expect, it's an 18.5-inch PCC. There really shouldn't be recoil. And on top of that, it's like 8.5 pounds. I think I weighed it. It was like, it was something like 8.5 pounds. I can't remember. I'll put it up on screen. What I exactly weighed as is configured here. The stock was very good. Now, I'm pretty sure Kodiak doesn't make these, which is maybe why it's so good. I absolutely have no urge to change this out whatsoever. Um, no rattle in the stock. Like when you're using it, it's not going to rattle. The QD point here is very secure. It has a metal insert in it, so it's not just plastic. Great stock. They made a very good choice to go with this instead of a Magpul or an M4 carbine type stock. I'll make a note on it. I don't think the flash hider is doing anything, not because the flash hider is bad, but because it's an 18.5-inch 9mm. I don't know if there's anything to hide by the time that it comes at the end of the barrel. If you wanted to change the muzzle on this, you're only doing it for looks. There's absolutely no practical benefit to doing it whatsoever. Everything else worked well. The trigger was nice. Could it use a lightweight trigger? Yeah, absolutely. I think this one specifically, unlike the 181, which I don't think the 181 needs a lightweight trigger if you're using it within 25 yards. But you might want a lightweight trigger for 50 or further. With this one, you don't need it, but it would be a nice to have within 25 yards. It's not heavy, but I think the one thing that you would want to change on this is the reset. The reset is a bit annoying, but as you can see from this footage that I got from my range day, a couple mags, there's no problem with doing quick 1-2 shots or even a mag dump. But it definitely could use an upgrade trigger, but it's not necessary. I really want to stress that it's not necessary. Don't feel like you need to spend $250, $300 on a new trigger for this. And other than that, that's it. I mean, that's the first shots. That's the first impressions of this thing. It ran really well. I had, besides the aluminum feeding on the first round, absolutely no malfunctions or jams or stoppages or anything. This is very promising. I think my first impressions are twofold. It is excellent the way it is, and I wish I do need to contact Kodiak because I'm wondering what kinds of barrels it uses specifically. Because I think one of two things could make this rifle damn near perfect. Because I don't consider aluminum case to be into the perfect equation. It's a nice to have, but it's not the qualifying thing. But there are two things that I think could make this perfect. Either a short-barreled rifle version of this, so a 12-inch barrel, I think would be excellent, or a pencil barrel, because this is quite a heavy-duty barrel. And like I would have, if I didn't do this, but I would wager that you could run 100 rounds through this back to back to back, and your accuracy would barely notice a drop. It is a very, very heavy duty barrel. But I think if you're just plinking around or you're doing a competition where you're not, maybe you shoot 20 to 30 rounds, but then you stop your stage, then I think a pencil barrel would be very, very useful with the weight savings. But other than that, it's very promising. Like this rifle, surprisingly, for a first gen Kodiak rifle, which I have to stress that this is a first generation Kodiak rifle, pretty good. It worked out its major flaw with the magazines. It's so far less picky than the FX9 from what I've heard. I don't know. I think this thing has a very bright future ahead of it. Who knows, maybe I jinxed it and we'll get to 500 rounds. This thing will be complete garbage. I hope not. That is it for this video. I will have probably not too many videos in the next week. If any at all, maybe in 2 weeks, I'll have a video on this and no, I don't think there's going to be one on the 181, but because I'm going to do that 1,000 round review on that next. So, and I'm about 400 rounds away on that. But they are coming, hopefully within a month, 500 on this, 1,000 on the other, within the next month. That's it for this. Thank you for watching. See you next time.